Okay, in previous session, we mainly talked about format of the assembly code and what is to be done and so on. So let me try to show you like what are the different registers available with Intel architecture for 32-bit programming and so on. Fine. So for that purpose, I will simply write one code which is somewhat simple rather to understand. So let us see the code that we wrote. This was the code that day we wrote, correct? AL, EBX, BX, ECX, and so on. Fine. So if I let me type today's case. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
so you will write. We will write only now text section for a while to understand what different registers are there. So section dot text. Majority times you students do make the errors. They don't put space over in between dot and session wala n. Fine. And even they do write here txt. So you may see error. It is text. Then you have to write global main. Then main. Now we will write only one instruction here, which is like this. For example, I will write this. I will not write anything over here. And now, like if I have to uh, assemble this code as we saw earlier, we will use this dash elf 32 07 09 2020 dot asm. Fine. Now, if I try to generate a executable for this, so I will write dash m32 07 09 dot o. Fine. And if I try to execute, nothing can be seen because we haven't done any kind of, we haven't used any kind of print statement over in between. Okay. So you will understand more details about now how exactly this print works internally. The printf function which we love to use in C language. Majority of us use different programming languages where similar print statement are there. Fine. So how these front end printers are printfs are working in background. So that's what we will be mainly addressing very soon. Okay. Now let us try to see in detail. Like if I execute this program, nothing was shown here on the screen because I wrote only one statement called move ex comma 1. Okay, this was our code 0709.asm move ex comma 1. It is not doing anything big. Fine. So let us try to see what different registers are there. So now you might have seen while I assembled the code, I used dash elf 32 07 09 2020.asm and then I used GCC to link. Now the main program that I'm going to make use of is GDB. So this is the GNU debugger internally used. This is one of the most important tool if you are working on Linux platform. Okay. Even if you are working on Windows platform, there are multiple debuggers available with each programming platform available. So as a programmer in industry, these debuggers really help us a lot to make the code workable or to make the code executable, correct? Or successfully execution can be seen only after you debug the code because every code may not be written by you. Whole code may not be written by you. There might be a partial coding done by you and others must have contributed into that. So there are multiple difficulties that one may face in respect of working with the code when some other third party is writing the code and so on. So let us try to debug this. So you write this gdb./a.out. Now you will experience that there is a statement shown no debugging symbol found in a.out. So we have to add. So I will add one more time. I will write this. I will write dash g. Okay. And then I will write dash g over here as well. Fine. And let me execute now. Now I can see that there is something called as reading symbols from a.out. So let me set a breakpoint first. So you will write L. So this should show you lines included in the code. If you write L again, it will try to find whether there is more than 4. Like after 5, nothing is there. So you can write L1. Now try to see what is the line number there for main. So either you write B3, or for example, if I don't write B3, then I can write B main even. Okay, that is your choice, what exactly you want to write. So even if I write L, so this either I write B3 or I write this B main, so it will work. Now let us try to see an important parameter, info all registers. Fine. So initially it should show you the program has no registers now, because we set only the breakpoints, but we haven't started the execution. So we have to start execution by putting R. So we started the code. Now if I write this info all registers, you would be able to see now the code. Now these are the registers that we are going to make use of here. Okay, mainly we are going to make use of this EAX, ECX, EDX, EBX, ESP, EBP, ESI, EDI. This is instruction pointer or program counter. This is flag register. We will be talking about it afterwards. Now towards bottom, like if you see, there is something called as ST0 and ST1. Correct. Similarly, if I go on by pressing enter, I should see ST0 to ST7. These all are floating point registers about which we are going to see in detail towards last part of this course. Fine. And if I move further, there are few more registers included. So I don't know how much history of Windows you exactly know. Or even if I talk about computing, not only Windows, but if I talk about computing or operating systems differently. So when 1998, like 1995 was introduced, Windows 95 was introduced. At that time, people started using internet on a UI perspective. Okay, earlier everything was available in a text form. So like DOS was the operating system, as well as there was Unix operating system, which was probably one of the most popular OS those days. Then so in between, when Windows came into market, suddenly we also experienced something related to Mac, because Mac, after Unix, Macintosh was the operating system which came. But then there was some disputes in Macintosh. Bill Gates came out of it and he formed another company called Microsoft. Now considering these three different working platforms for operating system, like there was a requirement, and Mac came first as an GUI point of view. Mac was the first OS which introduced graphical user interface. Unix people also developed a UI called X Windows, okay, which was a GUI. Now when they started this, initially the audio format and video format were restricted. There was no video used earlier stages, only audio format was introduced. Okay, so afterwards, like when technology came up front, internet and multimedia idea came in picture. So where images, videos, audios was like were the prominent elements of every content. So considering that, like what happened was there was requirement of going beyond the 32-bit programming. So like if I try to say, for example, operate on a button, suppose there is a power supply outside the class, and if I switch off one button, like ultimately supply of whole floor or whole classroom will be off. So this was like by one instruction, you are going to force every other data elements get affected. So there was a concept in between called as SIMD. So first, which we are going to learn is SISD. You can note it down: single instruction, single data. So what are the coding that we are going to write would be based on this SISD form. Okay. Hopefully, if you possibly join next semester a course which I am planning to take, rather I plan to take it this time only, but due to my workload, I could not offer that course called Advanced Assembly Programming. So in that course, you are going to see something called as SIMD, single instruction, multiple data. So these were the kind of architectures that came in upfront because of this requirement. And then suddenly parallel programming and everything came. Like when I debugged the code, you must have seen when I wrote B main, I executed it and then I said info all registers. So these were the registers which I said like we would be using. Okay, these are the internal register used for segments. Then ST0 to ST7 and then all things starting with F are related to float. Now if I go below, there is something called as YMM0. Okay, YMM1, YMM2 till 7 you should see YMM7. Then there is something called as MM0, again MM7. So these all are the registers used for the specific purpose related to handling this multiple data elements. Now you may see, for example, if I talk about this again, let us try to see contents of this YMM0. So if you see how many elements are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one element or one register would be holding at a time 8 values. So if it is float, if it is double, then it is going to hold 4 values. If it is 8-bit register, then like it says 32 times this would be taken and so on. So when we say this, rather, this is what is called as SIMD. The instructions related to this are considered for SIMD pattern, and what are the instructions that we are going to use in this semester, rather in this course, would be based on the pattern called SISD. There would be single instruction which would be operating on single data element. There is nothing called array. Okay, so we will be talking about it in greater detail at later stage. Fine. Now let us try to see how these instructions are implemented. Okay, so one by one we will be talking about instructions. So let me start by taking into consideration first instruction from the data transfer instruction called move. Now let us say if I write this move ex comma 1, then let me write move ex comma 10, then I will write move ex comma 100, then move ex comma 1000, move ex comma 10,000, move ex comma 1 lakh. Okay, let us see how exactly the transformation comes into picture. So now 10 lakhs. Fine. So I have added these values. Okay. Now what is the purpose of this? Let us try to see. Now let us assemble this. Nasm, then debug link, and now let us debug. Okay. Now if you recall earlier when we talked about debugger, I said that you have to make use of disp. So disp $ex. Okay. So we want to see the values stored in the ex register. So let us try to run. So first statement it is going to execute. Now if you say step, you may not be able to see anything here. Okay, because like if you see, though I applied main, but my code could not be understood by the linker, rather to create executable. It created executable which is not doing anything there, correct? Or rather the last value we wrote was this. So it executed that statement, but then how come it executed everything? What should I do now to convert this? So what happened was, due to changes in the technology or the architecture or the compiler or linker details, there was one point which was missing here, like with respect to while we are firing this command. So if I write only this, your program is debuggable, but you may not be able to see everything. Now to see all lines included, we have to write this fdwarf, DWARF. Fine. So I will put this in comment window rather, so that we can understand. So nasm-elf32 program name.esm-g and -fdwarf. Now let us see the change. Like if I fire a command, there would not be any message shown. Same thing I have to write over here as well. This is a format which is debugging format. So if you go on by searching man for NASA man, then capital F, for example. So let us see this capital F. So it specifies debugging information format. Fine. So you can optionally add that point because we are using dash elf32. Now this dash elf32 should include the elements required for debugging format, and that's what we are communicating. Please pick this dwarf. So you can search about this dwarf in detail on Wikipedia or on Google if required. Now let us try to debug this code. Now earlier when I haven't used this dwarf part, it was not showing me all details. So let me write breakpoint main. Then I will write display $eax. Fine. And let me now execute the code. Now you will be able to see now that it is showing me first statement which is to be executed. So this is the next statement that I want to execute. So if I say S, now see value of EX. What is that? Dash 13 1345 39256. This is garbage. So if I write S, then see what is the value shown? 1. Now each value that I wrote after EX is written in a decimal form. So this value would be converted now to hexadecimal form. Fine. So if I again press S, now would be 10. Now why this is so? Because these values are picked as a decimal value directly because we haven't specifically used this format. If I write this, then value 10 would be represented as 0xa. Fine. Let me write step again. Now 100, 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, and done. If you recall earlier when we haven't used that fdwarf, it was showing us this directly. Correct, and you can see how exactly it is converted to hex. So you may be able to convert this to hex with the criteria which was taught to you in SIS2 course or computer organization course in your IMCA course. Okay, IMCA degree course. Fine. So like our task is not to convert this, but our task is to see like how exactly these registers can be used. Now when I do talk about this move instruction will take 2 parameters. Now here what we did was we took every instruction passing the value to the register. Now if I say that move ebx comma ex, so here this kind of instruction is passing the data immediate manner. So immediate instruction. This is register to register. If you recall, these were the addressing mode formats which were taught to you in your CO course or SIS2 course. Fine. This one is also again immediate. Okay. Immediate data is passed to the register. So if I now take this, suppose move ECX comma EAX. Fine. Now let us try to see how it works. So code written was, let me show you again the code, the changes I made. I added only this move ebx comma ex and I added move ecx comma ex to so as to put the values into the respective registers. Now how can we see the content? So let us try to assemble the code again. So we'll use fdwarf every time now, dash g and dash fdwarf. Every time whatever the code that you are going to write, you are going to add this line. Fine. Then gcc same code .o dash g dash fdwarf. Now let us debug. Now if I write say breakpoint main, if I write L, now if I write again L, it will show remaining. Now if I write again L, it will not show. So L1. Fine. So we are not interested in L1. So you can write B main or B3. That is your choice. So let us say B main. Let us display the values $ex, ECX and EBX. Fine. Okay. Now let us try executing the code. Run. Now see the values. So let me write step. You can write NI as well. Next instruction if you wish, or step S. So if I write NI, then no need to write. You can press enter further. Now see the EX is containing 1. EBX is containing 0. Now this instruction will get executed and EBX should contain 1 now. Got it? Now next value is move EX comma 10. So EX contains 10. Now this value should go to ECX. Fine. So this is how now we haven't moved to other registers. So that should not be a query for that should not be a problem for you. Now one important thing, while we use these registers, okay, you have to note that whenever I am using this register, you are going to make use of only these registers in your code: EAX, EBX, ECX, EDX, ESI and EDI only. Fine. Rest of the registers like EBP and ESP are used internally. So we'll be talking about it after a while. Okay. So in today's session, we will try to write a code. I will save this code so that I can pass on this code to you peoples, so that you can work with it. So let me write now 01. Okay. So code would be section dot data. Let us not take data. We'll directly go with text. Global main. You should not forget writing this every time. Okay, so move EX comma 10, move EBX comma 20, add EX comma EBX. Now I am showing you flag register. Now, concentrate here now how exactly the flag register get affected. So here we want to add EX and EBX together. So this statement is written like this: EX is equal to EX plus EBX. This EAX is the current value. What are the EX that you see here is the current value here. This EBX is again current value of EBX, and this would be changed value. Now this EX would be changed after execution of this instruction. Fine. So let us try to see how it works. So code written is this. Let me show you code again one more time. Move EX comma 10, move EBX comma 20 and add EX comma EBX. Now let us try to see how it gets translated. Underscore 01 dash G dash F dwarf, then GCC, again underscore 01 dash O dot O. Now let us debug. Fine. Let us add a breakpoint. And now let us add EX, EBX. Okay, these are the only two registers we are using, so one can see EX and EBX only. So we have not too much worry about. But we will display now this E flag register. Fine. So this is a flag register. I suggest you to read Intel manual, or you can search about flag register in you may say Intel 32-bit architecture, so that you can know all details of the flag register alternatively. Okay, so let us write breakpoint main. We added that already, so we have to execute this code. So let us execute. Now you may see there three flag registers are: parity flag, zero flag and interrupt flag. So they are having specific role to play. We'll be talking about it after a while. Okay, or maybe as and when required, we'll talk about it. So EX, hello. Yeah. So now if I exit, this is the next instruction that we are going to execute. So if I write NI, do you see any change here in the flag? See, data is changed. This data is changed, but this flag register never got changed. It means that move instruction will never manipulate flag register. Okay. Now let me write again next instruction. Again, no change. Now concentrate on here. Like when we fire add instruction, this should get changed. Okay, because all arithmetic instructions would be changing the flag contents or flag register content. Now if I write NI again, now you will see that zero flag is gone. Now zero flag means previous operation resulted the register content to be made as 0. So that's why this ZF gets set. But as our addition of 20 and 10 is resulted to 30, which is non-zero value, so that's why this zero flag was reset. And that zero flag cannot be seen here. Fine. So this is how this arithmetic instructions would be making the change. So let us make the change again to see impact of this. So let us write sub ex comma 30. Now we know that sum would be 30 and we will subtract it so that we will see whether the result is made 0. Let us assemble. Let us link. Now debug. Again display ex, display ebx, display eflags. Okay, breakpoint main, run. Next instruction. Next instruction. Now this should change ZF. Okay. Now see result is what? 30. Now this 30 subtract 30. So this should be 0 now. So ZF one should see again. Can you see ZF there? That means what? The result because of the previous instruction is returned as 0. And that is the reason why we have this ZF flag set. Now what if result goes negative? Okay. So let us try to see. So I assume you must have understood now how this flag register get affected. So let us write here 40. So we know that this result would be negative. 30 minus 40. Fine. So let us go back. So this is the code that I added. Let me show you. So I added a statement. I replaced that 30 by 40 now. And let us try to see like what happens there. Earlier the 0 flag was set because result was 0. This result was 0. That's why this ZF was shown. Now what if like I'm going to get a negative result? GCC and now debug. Display $ex, ebx, eflags, breakpoint main, run. Now see next instruction affected the flag. Now see, you will see over here earlier it was pf zf if. Now there's a carry flag, sign flag and parity flag. So these all flags got affected. Parity and interrupt was there, but carry flag was generated because when you subtracted or while we subtracted, what happened was the borrow was created. Like when you talk about subtraction, when we do talk about addition, we do talk about carry. So in subtraction, there is a borrow, correct? So that's why the carry flag got set and sign flag also came into picture. So sign flag came into picture because the result was negative. So I want you to play with these flags. So try to find out. I will show you a few instructions which you have to make use of. Okay, in after this today's session. So let us copy this code. Let us now we add subtract, then let us type XOR EBX comma EBX. Okay, then OR EAX comma EBX. We can say AND EAX comma EBX. So these all are operations. So as and when required, we'll be using these operations. Now this is only for introducing you what are the different options available. Okay. So one by one, while we start writing the code, we will understand what are the different instructions there. So let us assemble. Let us link. And now debug. Display $ex, ebx, code is this. So have we used DCX? No. So not too much worry about. We displayed both. Then breakpoint main, run. Now next instruction. Now see the so we forgot eflags. So now flag should get manipulated from this instruction. It got reflected. You got it reflected. Now you will see that XOR also made the change. correct? 0 flag was set because 0 register contents would be same register would be used for XOR. So X with XOR X. So X and X when XOR together will result to 0. So that's why this EBX became 0. And then appropriately this flag got set. So if I use now next instruction, which is REX, EBX. So what was the change? Because R was there, 10 and 0 was there while we are adding. Okay, ANDing. So we got sign flag set. So if I now fire, it was OR first. Sorry, it was OR. Now we have AND. AND also made the change, and then EX contents were made 0. Correct, and that's how this flag register will get manipulated. Any question? Any question, please? You can type in comment box or you can ask by unmuting yourself. Any question, please? No? So seems everybody understood it, what I was trying to tell. Okay, so now we will try to write a program which should give us the factorial. Okay, let us try writing this. So I am introducing few instructions here. Okay, which you will learn by experience. Okay, so you try to copy the code which I am typing now. Okay, I will make those code available. You try to understand through debugging and try to find out like what is happening after each execution. Okay, so Ankita is asking question. You were saying when EX and EBX were these. So this was earlier setting before executing this add instruction by default. Like if I start debugging code again, by default, if I see this E flags contains and if I write breakpoint main and if I say R, you will always see these three set. It is not because of add move EX and move EBX. Fine. Ankita, I hope you understood it. This is by default setting that you have PF, ZF and IF are always there. This is by default happening. Okay. After you start executing the code and what are the instructions which are arithmetic category from arithmetic category or few specific instructions about which we'll be talking later. These instructions would manipulate float registers. Okay, so we have to think over this aspect, rather how exactly these registers get manipulated. I hope Ankita, I resolved your query. By default, these all three should be available. These all three are shown, no matter what you have. So when you start executing, like see, I started execution, but I haven't executed this statement. Even if I execute it, so you will see that it was kept as it is because this was not an arithmetic instruction. This was data transfer instruction. Okay, and I don't want to show you all PowerPoints showing you like, okay, what are the different instructions and so on. We will try to learn instruction as and when required. Right? Okay. So let us try to write a code which will return us a factorial. Okay, so I'm deleting this whole stuff. Let us copy this so that I can make that code available to you. Emacs _03.asm. So here I will use data element. So I will type in section dot data. I will use message because I want to make use of a printf statement. factorial is %d. Right now we will take only this one. Okay, and I will write 10 comma 0. We already saw what is 10 and what is 0. 10 for slash n and 0 is for slash 0. Fine. And we will try to compute factorial of 5. Okay, we will take value into EBX. Now, how you will write the code? So your statement is what? Fact is equal to fact multiplied by n minus 1. Okay, and you are going to decrement n every time. Correct? You are going to decrement n every time, and then you are going to check whether n is 0. If it is not 0, then you continue with this. Okay, so, or if it is not 1, then you can continue till executing this statement. So how can, so if you see here, there is an operation called multiplication, there is an operation called subtraction. Okay, so let us try to understand those instructions first. So for a while, let me take a value EX contains 5, and let me write move EBX comma 10. I will put some values here and we will use multiplication, and I want to show you how this multiplication instruction works. Okay, and let me write here mul. Now this mul is similar to add and sub. Only difference with mul is mul takes only one parameter. So if I write here EBX, for example, so understanding is EAX is equal to EAX multiplied by EBX. I'm not writing one component, important component here, which you will understand after we execute this. So I hope you must have seen here. You may say like, okay, I have given some values, random values with the EAX, EBX, ECX, and EDX, and then suddenly I am saying mul EBX. So meaning of this would be what? EBX contain 10. So 5 multiplied by 10, 50 should be there. Now let us try to see what is shown. Okay, let us try to assemble this code. Our code is this. So to show you one more time. Okay, don't worry about what is added here above. So we are not interested in this thing right now. Our target is only to understand how this mul works. Okay. So let us assemble the code. Let us link the code and let us debug the code. We have breakpoint main. Okay, let us display the value, display $EX. Now as this also is an arithmetic instruction, flag will manipulate. So I urge you to rather try a flag register later. Like, let us not much worry about it right now. Okay, I'm not worrying about that part right now. I'm only trying to show you what are the contents. So let me execute the code and see the values. EX contains now 5. Okay. EX contains 5, EBX contains 10, ECX contains 10, and EDX contains 5. Now next instruction is mul EBX. Now see carefully the change. What happened? EAX and EBX was multiplied. This and this multiplication was done, and EAX is containing this 50. Correct, result wise. EBX was containing 10, it is containing 10. ECX was containing 10, it is containing 10. EDX was containing 5, and surprisingly we see that EDX is made 0. Now what exactly this is? Now think about this. Suppose you are multiplying two 32-bit numbers, because see, EAX is a 32-bit register, EBX is a 32-bit register. Now they are containing 5 and 10. What if they are containing bigger values? Okay, let us see that part as well. So let us write this. I will make bigger numbers. Okay, and let us try to see. So code would be what? Code is like this. I added some big number there with EX and EBX, and let us try to assemble, link, and now debug. Again same, EX, EBX, ECX, EDX, breakpoint main, run. Now see the values. EX 50,000, EBX 1000, ECX 10, EDX 5. Now multiply. Now see, even this value got adjusted there. See the number of zeros. 4 plus 3, yes, 7, correct? So 7 zeros are adjusted because this value can be fitted into 32-bit. Fine. So let us make again a change in the source code. We will add 3 more values. Here we will add 2 more values, or 2 more zeros rather. Fine. Assemble, link, debug. Now code is, see the code, we made a big change. Okay, we have 5 crore. Okay, and then 1 lakh. Fine. So display $EX, EBX, ECX and EDX. Okay, one important thing, you have to be very patient with respect to using this assembly programming. Okay, now you may say, okay, I have to write every time display EX, display EBX. You have to. Now in one of the lecture later, probably in a week or so, I will introduce you the graphical debugger, okay, which can be used for debugging or to see the graphically what is it. So you can install till that time something called as DDD, display debugger, okay, digital display debugger. So you can install that GUI version of GDB, but I suggest you not to use it, but I will introduce you in one of the class. Fine. But suggestion would be what? Always try to make use of this only. So let us set breakpoint. Let us run ni. Fine. Now let us multiply. Now you will see that suddenly, like if I multiply 50,000, that 5 crore by 1 lakh, what would be the result shown? So it will not be something related to thing, because these may be the 32-bit values probably. Okay, because this 55 crore and 1 lakh was stored there. So that means this is 32-bit value. But when I multiply two 32-bit value, result may get expanded to 64-bit. So the order is taken like this: EDX and then EX. So EDX contents are written and then EDX contents are written then followed by EX. So that's how combination of both would be working together. So the result would be shown like this. So let us try to see. Let me write this display dash T for binary purpose $EX and EDX. So if you see this, like this whole thing, okay, let us first say copy this. So if I paste it here, for example, and then you copy this. Now this whole thing is the result of that multiplication. What happens? EDX and EX altogether are used for this mul instruction to store this 64-bit result of two 32-bit values. Multiplication of two 32-bit values is stored there. Now you may say, what happens when I add two 32-bit values? Okay, same thing probably can be there, but again, it depends like how exactly the data would be converted internally. Fine, so it will try to fit in there only. So when you cross the limit, like you must have experienced while working with C language as well. So whenever you are crossing the range of the data type, you get wrong results. Okay, so same thing would be applicable here. Fine. Understood? Any question? So combination is what? Whenever you use multiplication instruction, MUL instruction takes EX and EDX together to display the result. The result would be displayed like, the result will be displayed as EDX then EX. Like though the contents would be shown differently, but then you have to print it that way, and that is one difficulty with respect to this mul instruction. Fine. So result would be displayed as EDX EX, but this is our understanding. It will not be shown directly that way. It would be shown in what sense? EX and EDX values would be shown differently. The way that we saw over here. Okay, so this would be the 64-bit multiplication, sorry, 64-bit value which got generated after multiplying two 32-bit values. So what this representation is showing? This representation is showing this binary this conversion of this binary number to decimal number, and this 1164 is showing this one. Okay, so say for example 4 plus 4. This is 128, 256, 512, and this is 1024. So 1024 plus this value plus this would be resulting to 1164. Fine, and that's how this is displayed. Any question? If there is any, you can ask me. So I'm done with today, so you can ask me the question. No question? Yes, please. I will add a factorial code on our Moodle course site so that you can download it and you are expected to trace it through the debugging. Okay, and you have to capture that video. That is your choice now how to capture. You can make use of a video recorder rather to capture that you debugged the code. Okay, and try to store that, and as and when I request you or as and when I expect you to submit, you should submit link of that video that you debugged the video, and at the same time while you are debugging you have to speak, okay, now we are executing this statement, now we are executing this statement, it is showing us this result and so on. Fine, I am going to add few instructions which are not known to you, and I will explain about those instructions in one of the video which I am going to upload probably in a day or two. Fine, on Moodle course site. So I don't think you are planning to ask me a question. So if there is no question, we can end this. Yeah, somebody is asking a question. Sir, here we have 4 register. What if we want to use only 2 register, then mul ex abx with large numbers? No, mul instruction will always use one parameter, and by default it considers that one parameter is with ex. Okay, you cannot use mul like mul. You can use ex, ebx, ecx, edx, esp, ebp as well, esid as well. So, but my suggestion would be try to see that you will restrict yourself with respect to usage of register from ex, ebx, ecx, edx, esi and edi. Avoid using esp and ebp while you are using multiplication instruction. Even I will suggest you not to use edx because edx is going to get manipulated. Right? Ankita, I hope I resolved your query. By default, multiplication instruction will take ex as one parameter. It can take any register there, or it can take even, like for example, suppose if I write this in a code. So we'll write this again. For example, move ex comma 10, and I am saying mul d word of a. Okay, and here I am writing a dd 10. Fine. Now this is my code. I am writing mul. Now here it is register to register instruction. Okay, it is taking register as a parameter. Here I am putting data. You cannot use mul 10 there directly. Okay, this is not permitted. There is a restriction. So let us try to see like how it works. Let us save this. The code I added is this. Okay, I used d word of a. Now let us try to debug this code. Assemble this code, then link code, and then debug display $ex. Now we'll use this only ebx, edx, and ecx. You can take any order. Now we will skip these all. We'll go to last one. EX is 10 again. Now A, we know that A contains 10. So now you can see the division. Now EDX earlier was 1164. Okay, before executing this, correct? But after execution, this EDX got manipulated because now it doesn't. If it contains 1164 again, problem would be what? Result would be then EDX and EX again, and result actually is not that. So this EX result 100 should be prefixed with 0. That's why this EDX is made 0. Right? So note that this EDX also is used internally for multiplication. Now similarly, let me show you div. So if instead of this, if I say div, let us write here 3, 10, we will take 100, and I will take A to be not 10, but for example 9. So what would be division? If I divide 100 by 9, what would be division? There would be remainder as well, correct? Now try to see like where is the division and where is the remainder. Now the way that we saw EX and EDX used together, okay, for multiplication. Similarly, let us try to see how it is used. Sorry. This PX, EDX, ECX and EBX. Breakpoint main is already done. Run ni multiplication. EX is 100. Now let us divide. What is the value of A? L1. What is value of A? 9. Okay. So EX is containing now 100. EDX is containing 1164. Now see what is there. So you got arithmetic exception. It is because EDX was containing some value. Okay, and you will get segmentation fault. So if I write here, for example, here I executed it with debugging code. Debugging. If I write this, then you should get floating point exception there. How to remove this? You have to always use like that. That's what I always suggest. Whenever you are using XOR, whenever you are using div or mul, my suggestion is always try to make EDX 0. This would be absolutely necessary. If you don't do this, sometimes you may get floating point exception or some segmentation fault. Okay, now if I try to debug now, assemble, link, and now execute. Now you will see error was removed. This was not there, correct? Now if I go back and debug the code, display $EAX, and we will take EDX only because we know only these value. Okay, for separation we will use EBX as well, ECX as well. Breakpoint main, run. Now see the values. Yeah, so EX contains n, EDX is made 0. Now see what is EDX contains 0, EX contains 100, EBX contains 1 lakh, and ECX contains 10. Now see what is changed. What is changed? See, 11 multiplied by 9 is 99. So division goes to EX and remainder is available with EDX. Okay, 100 divided by 9. So 11 would be the division and 1 would be the remainder. So for div instruction, okay, I will write in comment. For div instruction, EX holds the division and EDX holds the what? Remainder. Is that okay? Understood? Any question? Okay, I can see one question. Half of the value will go to EDX, but what if I am not using EDX? Even if you are not using EDX, that will go there ultimately. See, like though if you I can do that change. Let me make the change for multiplication instruction that Ankita is asking. So if I remove this value of EDX, there will be garbage, correct? So my code is like this now. We are talking about mul instruction only, yeah. So I don't have anything with EDX here. So when I multiply this, let us see what happens. So let us assemble link. Let us try to execute. Now there is no segmentation fault. GDB display $EAX, EDX, ECX, EBX, breakpoint main, run. Now see the values. ECX contains none and EDX contains some wrong value, correct? Now after multiplication, this multiplication of EX and EBX happens, that 1192 will 1164 will automatically come. Okay, that was the earlier value as well, correct? So if you make the change, like if I take a smaller value here again, so let me take this smaller value. Let me link, then it will, instead of 1164, it would be made as 0. Display $EAX, we will take only these two, breakpoint main, run, ni, and then you will see that see the value that is changed with respect to EDX. So if I see now what EDX is containing 1, why? Because the multiplication also crossed the limit of what you can say 32-bit. So let me make again change with respect to the value. So I will remove one more 0 from here. Okay, let us try to see NASM GCC debug. So code is this. Now smaller values, 10,000 multiplied by 50,000. Display $EAX, display $EDX, breakpoint main, run. Now next, multiply. Now you will see that EDX is made 0. So even if you don't provide any value with EDX, EDX would be used internally by mul instruction. Right? I hope I resolved your problem, Ankita. Even if you are not using internally, EDX would be used for mul and div, and these registers would be having their own importance. So whenever we go on using different instructions, you will understand importance of each register at the later stage. Fine. Any more questions? No? So let me stop recording.